So it's week 3 here in Nairobi, Kenya, and I got a lot to tell you because this past week was quite the fun. There were some really neat experiences. More so, a lot of them were kind of last second, just all right, we're going type adventures, and they turned out to be quite remarkable. And I mean, it wasn't even just the landscapes that we were seeing. It was also, I was meeting people at the last second, or it was because I would do these adventures, they would become closer to you because sometimes, when you go through a little bit of adversity or it's a little bit challenging or uncomfortable, that definitely bonds you together. I started off the week very interestingly. It was very memorable for both the good but also uncomfortable reasons. I had been recommended by a friend to go to this place called the Great Rift Valley Viewpoint. I was all about it because there's some adventures, but they're a little bit farther. But this one was, within proximity. And when I looked at it, there were 2 places. And so one was kind of a lookout on the highway. I'm pretty sure that was the one I was supposed to go to. But then there was also another one that looked a little bit closer to the viewpoint or whatnot, and I saw kind of some roads in the maps I was looking at. The previous day I had met someone, and they were like, hey, let's connect, and he was an individual from South Sudan, and his name was Kwat, and he was an incredible guy, really thoughtful, kind human, and so luckily I had him on this adventure because I don't know if it would have turned out so memorable and well, but I kind of invited him the night before and he was all for it. And so we get up early, we get there, we start driving pretty early in the morning the sunrise is around 6:30, and we had a little bit of a drive. And so we drove there, and little did our driver know what he was getting himself into. Also, we had no idea. None of us had been there before. It was just, okay, let's go see this adventure. But we begin driving, and so we've been driving for probably 45 minutes, and it's been on highways and whatnot, and not bad. It's a little dark out still. And then we take a left turn, onto a dirt road. And it wasn't just like a normal dirt road. It was there were a lot of potholes, and it was not the most comfortable ride. And we were in a Chap, which is a little bit of a smaller car, so it was bottoming out at some points. But we were taking this road for about 30 minutes, and we're going through these roads, and I kid you not, we are the only car there. And so I'm thinking to myself, in the back seat, like, what did I get these guys into? Like, what did I bring them along for? Like, I was feeling really bad. I was like, I don't know what this is going to turn into. We were in practically the middle of nowhere. There were no vehicles anywhere. And so we keep going, and Kuat kept saying, okay, yeah, let's keep going. And then the driver, who's local Kenyan, he's like, I've never been here. What is this place? And so at some point I was just like, we've gotten this far, we might as well continue. But our luck got even better, because then all of a sudden the road, like the map said, keep going. But the road basically stopped. Like, the car could not go any farther. There was basically a little ravine that you could walk down. And so we all got out of the car. The driver came with us, and so we started walking for about 10-15 minutes. So we're currently going to a viewpoint. Don't really know where we are. Kwat, where are we? We've been driving on dirt roads for the past 20 minutes, and we've gotten to a point where the car can't go anymore. Don't really know where we're going or what meets us, but this is exciting. And we'll see where it goes. Kelvin, where are we?
The Great Rift Valley Viewpoint.
And then, I kid you not, we're like, we wonder where this place is going to be. We're just kind of passing some houses. And then, I don't believe this is the viewpoint, but we literally walked, and a clearing happened, and we were in the backyard of somebody's house. Like, this is not somewhere where you just go and people see. This is like somebody's backyard. So after 30 minutes of dirt roads and walking, we've arrived at a valley. I don't know where, but it's absolutely beautiful. It was so peaceful, it was so quiet, it was a little bit cold, but it was one of those things where we were just sitting there and we're like, how did we get here, right? Like, none of us had any idea, and we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, but we were so thankful for it. So take on what it was like. Good, bad? Good.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Cold morning.
Yeah, cold. Kelvin was our very courageous driver who took us all the way out here. He had no idea what he was getting into when he signed up for this, but but he was a trooper, and he came along with us, and luckily he enjoyed it. So this is just a testament to say sometimes you have no idea where you're going. It looks like you should turn back many times when we're the only car. It's a dirt road. You keep asking, is this the right direction? But you keep going. You kind of say, all right, this is where the most exciting opportunities come from. And little did we know, that was one of the most spiritual, one of the greatest views I've seen. And I'm so glad that we did that. So that was the Great Rift Valley Viewpoint. I recommend going to the highway one, which is a lot easier and probably a similar view, but if you want a little bit of an experience and some off-roading, all power to you. I can put the link down in the description, but it was definitely an experience I'll forever remember. And then also, another really interesting experience I had was I went to a place called Paradise Lost, and I had wanted to go there for some time, but I never had the chance to. And I was gonna go with a few friends, but everybody kind of said, you know, I have something going on, which was totally valid and whatnot. But I was like, all right, I mean, I'm going regardless. You guys can come with or without me. And unfortunately, nobody was able to come. So I went on my own. And so we begin driving. And then it was almost the exact repeat of what happened at the Great Rift Valley, because we take a left and we're on another dirt road. I'm like, where am I bringing these drivers? Like, I feel so bad. Like, the cars are getting beat up. I'm also having no idea where I am. And so we drive on a dirt road for probably another 15 minutes. And we get to the entrance. I was like, okay, great. We got to the entrance. And there's like no cars, but I was thinking that's the entrance. Maybe nobody's there. There was just one guy at the front. I get out of the car, and then I start walking through. So I'm at Paradise Lost right now. Partially think I'm also lost. And then I'm walking through, and you know, as I continue walking, there's like nobody there. So I've been walking for about 15 minutes, and I'm literally the only person here, aside from the workers. I might have gotten the days wrong. So I have yet to see someone, and all of a sudden I see someone, but they're a worker. I'm like, am I getting the days wrong? Am I like, what's happening? Amazing day, beautiful place.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
But it's just a cheery day.
A cheery day. Have a good one. I'm pretty sure it's off season. But anyways, I was like, perfect. I got the place for myself, whether that was intentional or not. But then I just began walking, but I also knew there was a waterfall. And so that was really why I was coming. I was like, okay, let's go see this waterfall. And, you know, I walk and I ask the worker, you know, kind of where's the waterfall. And, you know, as I'm walking, there's, you know, picnic tables, there's a beautiful lake. There's some horses. It was actually pretty magnificent. And then I walked through a little bit of a path, and then there's this waterfall. It was one of the most peaceful experiences I've had in a while, where I was on my own. It was quiet. All I had was, you know, the waterfall and the birds chirping, and it was pretty special. I just got in. Probably shouldn't have done that, but it was so worth it. This is so refreshing. There were also some caves too. I went in the caves and I didn't really know this about myself, but I was like super afraid because I had no idea where I was going. And the iPhone flashlight works, but apparently not that well because I could hardly see. And then I came across like a little hole, and I couldn't even fit in there. So I was trying to push it as far as I could, and then I said, you know, that might be for another time. Where does this lead? I don't know. No, no way, no. And to round out the week, I had a little cooking expedition / escapade, I would say. Since I got here, I always knew that I really wanted to learn like how to cook the traditional plates, or maybe they're not native to Kenya, but they're very popular, and a lot of the locals enjoy them. And I knew some of the staples were ugali, which I did last week, and then I knew the next one was chapati. But chapati is a very long process, which I had no idea, which I think was very good because I don't know if I would have done it in retrospect. And so I had a friend who was really good at cooking, and so I just said, I'll do whatever you need, but if you can just teach me how to make chapati, I will forever be indebted. It was one of those things where it was an all-around experience, right? Like, it was a team effort, definitely, because I had no idea what I was doing, and they had to be patient with me while also just enjoying. And there was a lot of laughs because some things I didn't do right or whatnot. But it was awesome because now I don't think it will turn out the same way, but maybe I could cook it for my family or whatnot. At the night, I brought 2 extras back for the security guards of where I'm staying, and I gave them to them, and I said, I cooked this, and they're like, you cooked this? And I mean, obviously I had a little bit of help, but I was like, yeah, of course I cooked this. And they're like, wow, okay. And so they tried it, and I got a local approval, so I was sitting pretty, and so I was able to finish the night on a good note. The biggest thing for me this past week was definitely the friendships I've been able to build, and how welcoming people are, because it's definitely not the easiest to welcome in someone who doesn't really know exactly what they're doing. I'm definitely curious and I want to learn, but that's not always what people enjoy, because you can be a little bit high maintenance. But I've not met one person that hasn't shown me the most kind and generous, welcoming. And a lot of the conversations I had was, what do you enjoy so much about Kenya and some of your cultures when you're growing up? And it was this idea of family, and not just like your first family. It was the idea of family as a community, where you know people who are your neighbors. The guy working at the store across the street. It's very fascinating to watch when you're able to just see everybody kind of working in unison. And they too kind of carried that into their lives, and I see it in how I interact with them and how I'm able to just experience who they are. There's so many differences that I'm seeing that we create as a society, but in reality, the greatest gift that we all have is that we're human. And I'm meeting people from all different backgrounds, races, ethnicities, nationalities, and yes, we're all different in many ways, but that's a uniqueness that we all come together and we relate over the fact that we are human and that we are kind and we're curious, and that to me is one of the most gratifying and fulfilling experiences I've had. Next week will be quite the escapade as usual, but peace and love to all of you guys.